This is Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Don't shake that fire.
Wake your fuck ass up. That crust out you.
On the road to riches.
At one point, he was deemed the highest grossing dance artist in North America from tours. He's collaborated with everyone from Lil Jon, Iggy Azalea. Remember LMFAO?
Yeah.
Those are my boys, Afrojack, will.i.am, Kid Cudi, and the list goes on. He's been nominated for Grammy Awards, have to be. Mm-hmm. His Neon Future 1 album was groundbreaking. 2 was revolutionary. When you watch his social media, you feel like life is but a party. Mm-hmm. And that's it, just a party. Everywhere he goes around the world, he's embraced with a lot of love. People feel a connection to him, and they never even met him before. But they met him through watching him jump through the air globally. I even jumped in the air with him on numerous occasions and had more vertical than he could ever dream of.
Whoa.
He marveled at how high I jumped, have to be. It's like your vertical is better than Spud Webb's. And it was true. And now, through his dedication and love for culture, music, and people, he's a humanitarian. He doesn't drink. He once did. He stopped. Doesn't do drugs. At least that's what he tells me. He's high on life, ladies and gentlemen. And through his work, he makes thousands upon thousands of people happy and elated to be breathing. At a time when a lot of folks are oppressed, depressed, and think life isn't worth it, if you follow him on social media, you will soon beg to differ. That every moment you breathe is definitely worth it. And by the way he lives, you can tell. And when you see this documentary, I'll Sleep When I'm Dead, you'll get a better understanding of who he is today and where he came from, his family, some of the most intimate interviews you're ever going to hear about a person, and some of the most transparent information a person could give you. The one and only, our friend, Steve Aoki, is here, ladies and gentlemen. He's here.
That's an epic introduction.
Man, every time you come and you see there ain't no script in front of me. You know what it is? Because I follow you. And you know how it is, Steve. Sometimes, you work in this business, and even beyond the business, you see what's going on in the world. You see what's going on in politics. For me, I think about children a lot, and I need things that keep me inspired, keep me on my square. And so certain people are like muses to me. So you're a muse to me. So a life muse. So when I watch how you get down, I watch your drive, and it's like whenever I want to sit on my ass, I could go on any one of your social medias and see you working hard, and it gives me inspiration. So this is all coming from my heart.
I appreciate that.
All
Thank
right?
you very much.
And he had never stepped in and got me a free meal at Benihana's, and I eat there all the time.
Damn.
Yeah.
Actually, last time I ate there, I paid.
You paid.
I paid.
Did it bug them out?
No. I think that they wanted me to pay.
Okay. And they knew who you are, right? They know who you are, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we did tell them like, hey, but it wasn't like it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
I rarely eat there, honestly.
Yeah.
So it was fine, but I was like, oh yeah, I'm paying. Like the last 2 times I paid.
You paid.
Yeah.
You may not remember this, but I think you told me last time you came here that you would pay for me to go to Benihana's. You don't remember that?
Yeah. I'm happy to pay. You just call me, Sway. I'll just cover it.
Okay, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
This friendship has to pay off eventually. This I'll Sleep When I'm Dead. Did you title this doc?
I'm not even sure.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if but you know what? I just got the tattoo
Okay.
last night.
Where's it at? Where'd you put it?
Well, I got it on the back of my neck here, right up here.
Let me see.
Yeah,
turn around, man. Turn this chair. Swivel that chair around.
Swivel.
Oh, wow. I'll sleep when I'm dead right there. Heather, touch his neck.
I'm good.
You
Don't
good?
do that. I
You
don't
don't do
know where he came from just now. Somebody could have been wetting him. I don't know.
So what we find out is through a lot of your family members is who you are, who you growing up, who you were. The most interesting dynamic I find is the one with your father and you, And let's take a listen to this.
Business comes number 1, and health comes number 2.
and family comes number 3.
You know, my dad asked me, hey, put Steven into Benihana. Let him try it. And, you know, I just remember what my dad did to me, and I figured, look, you know, I'm going to just push him, you know, not as hard as my dad pushed me, but push him a little bit hard. And he peeled onions all day until he was crying, just to show my father's little work ethic. But he probably realized that he didn't like the restaurant business after he worked there for 3 months.
Wow. Your father told you that business comes first, health comes second, and family comes in a distant third.
Honestly, you know what? After I saw the final cut, that was the first time I heard that.
Really?
Yeah, but because like it's what he says in the public space and what he says to his kids or in his private space are like 2 different things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the public space is more like he's trying to identify like what his motto is, I guess, right?
Mhm.
And in the private space, he's you know, he's not saying, all right, son, here's the instruction manual on life. It's more like I'm just gonna put you under my arm. We're gonna do some crazy shit together.
Mhm.
Like I'm gonna vicariously live. I'm gonna vicariously live through him, and that's where I was, you know, I was blessed by the life experience, just, you know, being around him at the times that I did, and got to see like, you know, his life through his work ethic and his drive, and definitely just, you know, pounding his kids like, you know, you gotta work. Work's number 1. I mean, that's one thing is, I guess, you know, he did say that by like pushing that kind of ethic.
Were you ever scared of your dad, or was it?
Oh yeah, definitely tough love situation for sure.
Really?
Very traditional Japanese man, and I think if you talk to other Japanese families, it's like the same kind of vibe and energy. The dad's the driver. He's you know, it's a patriarch kind of system, and the kids have to follow, and it's a hardcore work ethic. You know, like, I mean, you talk to like Japanese, like the salaryman, the businessman, like they barely ever see their families.
Really?
They just work. They work to the bone, and that's a problem in many regards, because that's how businesses are run in Japan, is that they just work people to the bones, where they, you know, and then they train their children to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably changing now, but
what's the reward in that? I mean, other than financial stability, but if you don't have opportunity, like what's the theory, like philosophy behind that? Like if you can't enjoy the fruits of your labor,
right? And I think that's the big issue for, you know, that tradition, is that you lose that, right? You lose what's valuable. But in his case, you know, he loved what he did.
Yeah,
I think that's the difference, is that his love is, you know, he's got this, you know, this nasty tradition that's still pervasive in Japan, but then he found a way to turn it into something fun. You know, like through his athleticism and his adventures, you know, his boat racing, his all that kind of stuff. I mean, the way I see it is like he could do all this stuff, and, you know, he can get paid for it.
Okay.
You know, like he could do a boat race and be a boat race driver, or fly a hot air balloon across the Pacific Ocean, and it's not like a private endeavor. It's like, I'm going to do this around my business, and the business is just going to cover the, you know, and then at the same time it's covering the expense, but it's also promoting the business.
Okay.
So it all goes back to you know, the main thing is work. You know,
that's genius. You kind of do the same thing though. Like, you know, you throwing cakes in people's faces and it look crazy, but it's really promoting your brand. You know, you travel around, you do the jump thing, but it's really promoting your brand. Your mom, though, what was your dynamic with your mom, and in retrospect, how do you think she lived in that environment with your father working all the time? She's
definitely like also very traditional with in the same Japanese sense, you know, kind of just passive, you know. She's a strong mother. I mean, you know, she raised me. Yeah. She was the one that was there with me from day one, give me the courage to keep going when, you know, it's, you know, as you know, the music industry is cutthroat, it's difficult, and to be independent and starting with no investment, is ridiculously hard. And you know, that's like anyone that goes into that game, I give, you know, a lot of credence to, because it's tough. It's tough work. And it's the kind of thing where it's like you go into it knowing it's a sacrifice, and you have to be able to supplement that income to make sure that you make it. You know, whether you're you know, a singer or rapper, or whether you're the label in the independent sense of things, it's hard to make a dollar.
That's hard. Steve Aoki is here. The doc is I'll Sleep When I'm Dead. It's available now on Netflix. I'm gonna open up the phone lines. 888-742-3345.
I was always nervous when I would start DJing, and I would get drunk all the time. I mean, I was drinking all the time.
To the point that me and Adam actually talked about just a step below an intervention. Adam had been sober for 12 years.
I get this BBM from a poker friend of mine. Yo, did you hear about AM? Matt just said that, you know, Adam's dead.
He took it harder than almost he took his own father's passing.
And that was it for me as far as drinking. I was done. There's no reason. I had 2 very close people in my life die.
Wow, that's a clip from the doc. It's called I'll Sleep When I'm Dead. It's about the life of Steve Aoki while on the road. He revealed a lot of intimate details about his upbringing. Steve is here with us this morning, 888-742-3345. Travis Barker is a good friend of mine. Steve, I consider you a friend of mine as well. And DJ AM was a friend of mine as well. And his death really kind of impacted a lot of us. It kind of caught everybody off guard. We thought he was doing better. And the way he died kind of impacted us. Something that I thought was really powerful in that statement was his death impacted you as much as your father's, or almost as much as your father's death?
You know, it's with my father's death, I watched him slowly disintegrate. Yeah. You know, and I mean, there was an end that seemingly seemed, you know, I thought he was going to fight through it and get out of that, but the chances of him passing away, I was accepting that. With AM, it just was tragic. No one, like you said, no one knew it was coming, and when you wake up one day, you're like, yo, he's gone forever. Like, you had no idea. That's something where it's a complete mind fuck. It just changes everything. And yeah, obviously when you have your best friend, you have a different relationship on how you look at, you know, it's like it's just different, you know. So sometimes it just seems like they're both tragic to me. It just seems maybe people saw it like, wow, it affected him more because, you know, it's I don't know, it's like your homie dying, you know, like right there, like gone forever. Which I'm really happy that the As I Am doc came out too. Yeah. You know, really giving some love and sharing his history and memories, because I feel like, you know, in the past few years, people haven't been talking about, you know, the kind of legacy that he left behind, and now that there's this doc that can talk about that.
Well, we actually had Kevin Kerslake on the show when he was promoting it for the Tribeca Film Festival last year, and that was the part of your documentary which I identify with, because I remember when Dim Mak and Banana Splits, when that whole buzz started coming over on this side of the coast, you know what I mean? And I was watching what all you guys were doing with the Cobra Snake pictures and all this stuff. I mean, it was wild as hell. And there's no doubt that AM influenced a lot of people. You said he had a great influence on your DJ career. I even bought some of AM's records from his collection because we happened to be in LA at the time when they were selling them. And so he had an influence on me. Is there any moment in your career, looking back, whether it's from those Dim Mak or Banana Split parties, that if it hadn't happened, you feel like you wouldn't be where you are right now?
Oh yeah, I mean that was a big that was the foundation. You know, it's a foundation of understanding how important it is to build locally, and really focus on what's in front of you. And I mean, we like LA was basically our you know, our groundbreaking area that we just focused on, and being able to work with AM. I mean, it was different. Like Dim Mak was all about a very specific scene. It was like pre-EDM. It was electro. It had this kind of that energy. With AM, he was pop culture. So when we combined forces, it brought in all kinds of interesting people and
money.
And, yeah, it changed the game. It changed the game, and, you know, to like combine that way. I think that was a time when EDM became EDM, and where it was no longer this underground thing that was happening in these small rooms all around the world. You know, like where people outside the space were like, "What's that noise? I want to be part of that." You know, and that fusion, I think, was like a microcosm of what happened.
Steve Aoki is with us.
Two quick things. One, it's interesting when you see someone who makes a living off of the party scene in a sense, but is completely sober. Can you talk about and I feel like that would be an advantage because you're so clear when it comes to your decision making. Can you talk about the mindset behind that? Was it always easy from jump to be surrounded by temptation?
Yeah, no. Well, I'll say, like, you know, in the doc, I talk about how, like, when I would go up and DJ, I was always nervous and I needed to drink. Mm-hmm. And I still talk to really big DJs that they're like, I need to drink. I don't know how you just don't drink and play. Like, I'm playing for all these people. I need to like loosen up and like get my nerves gone. And I get it. Like, you kind of need that. And you have this liquid courage, like when you're on stage and you don't realize how sloppy you are, and you think you're the king of the world. You know what I mean? Like, which is probably my faults. I mean, I'm probably like, yo, Aoki sucks at DJ, man. He thinks he's so good up there. Yeah, when like that transition stage of when I was like, I'm done. I'm done for good. And that transition stage, the first few months, was absolutely difficult. It's awkward. It's just absolutely awkward, you know. But after you're like, you know, you get this clarity, then your show just becomes better because you start thinking, you know, like a chess player. How am I going to go? What direction can I go in? And be more methodical about your approach, how you're going to communicate with your crowd. Because once again, that was becoming more clear. It's the communication, the connection. And when you're drunk, you don't have this clear connection with people. But when you're totally conscious of the situation, then you could be like, how can I make this connection be as the best connection that you can possibly make with people. And then you have people leave going, okay, that was one of the best experiences I had, or that's the vibe that you want to take off. But, you know, if you're drunk half the time, I don't think people will get that.
True.
Yeah. It's like talking to a drunk person. They say the same thing about 5 times. You know, they say the same thing 4 or 5 times in a row. You're like, I already heard this, but I'm just going to listen to this again because I'm stuck in this conversation.
Steve Aoki, you said 2 questions.
Yeah, and then the second one, throughout this process, because you're kind of just going into a time portal and doing a lot of reflection, was there any point where you just felt too emotionally invested, like sort of on the brink of having a breakdown?
That's why it's hard for me to watch this doc because, you know, it's like as I'm doing the interviews, it's I remember at the time I was already in the space to actually tell the story, but since I don't really discuss or talk about or open that door into my personal life, yeah, it was hard even then. But watching it now, it's like I just don't watch it.
What made you do it? Like, what was your purpose?
It was kind of like this organic process of letting these guys into film. And since I always travel with people with cameras wherever we go, but we only document what we're trying to promote. Fun, energetic show, the music, nothing more. You know, because I don't want to go too deep on as far as like on the road. What is it like on the road with Steve Aoki? Boom, YouTube channel. Boom, this is the show. It's crazy. This is the awesome people we hang out with, Sway and whoever else at that week. But with Justin, we started filming in that space, and then he slowly was like, "Hey, can we film you going to Japan with your mom?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's actually a pretty cool idea. I didn't think about that because we're gonna go see the family burial sites and stuff. Oh, can we do this? Can we do that?" And he started opening those doors more, and yeah, it's like a gradual process. So I was like, okay, you know, I'm okay with that. And then eventually I was like, you know what, you can have like just unbridled access to anything you need to do to get where you need to go. and I really don't want to. I really don't want to get involved with that process. I'm just going to give you the keys.
Wow. Steve Aoki, ladies and gentlemen, man. Congratulations. The doc, I'll Sleep When I'm Dead, is available now on Netflix. What's next for you, man?
Back on the road.
Back on the road.
Finishing Neon Future 3.
Okay.
And me and Lil Uzi Vert, we have an EP coming out.
Okay.
We did 5 songs together at the beginning of the year. He was in my studio for a week, and I've been trying to find a slot to release this because
what's the project called?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
But we have these 5 songs, and I was talking with their label, and we're trying to I was trying to get this thing out earlier, but like they're I was talking to Craig Kalman and everyone. They're like, well, we're just crushing it right now. The songs that we have out, Money Longer, all the songs are just, we don't want to cannibalize those records. So by putting this out, I'm like, it's not, I'm just trying to get this guy out, before it's too old. So it's really, really exciting stuff, which I'm. You
gonna bring nothing with you?
I think I have some.
What are we doing, Steve?
Man. I don't know if it's too early, but that's definitely you're definitely one of the first people I want to hear this.
Okay, so when it's time, if you don't want to do it right now.
No, let's do it.
You want to do it right now?
I don't know if I have it on me.
Okay.
I didn't.
In the morning, exclusive.
We should. You have it?
Yeah, bring it over here, man.
Right,
okay,
let me see.
Let me see if it's on my phone.
All right, shit, fuck it. Let's start the buzz.
Sway. Exclusive.
All right, Steve Aoki is here. While he's setting that up, let me take this caller real quick. We got Jay from Ohio. Jay, go ahead, man. Good morning.
Jay, talk to us.
Jay.
Hey, good morning.
What's popping, Jay? What's popping?
I had a question for Steve. I guess, you kind of hit on it a little bit. Back in the early 90s and the 2000s, if you wanted to catch you or any of these other DJs, you pretty much had to know where to get the flyer, find out where the hell the party was and everything. It was almost like frowned upon to go to these underground scenes, staying out all night dancing or whatnot. And now you got it advertised in Vegas and shit. I mean, pretty much everywhere with big names coming through. What's changed about the culture and everything like that?
Well, just like you said, I think the access is already changed. It's just easier to find. It's harder to be underground now because the underground was always about not having the access, and it's always about these exclusive spaces. And talking about Banana Split Sundays and what me and AM were doing, that was like these small rooms that only fit 400 people.
Yeah.
And that's where you break. We broke Kid Cudi, or we break MIA, or we break artists like that. Now everyone has Snapchat. Everyone wants to film, where they're at. It's just easier to find. It's harder to use the word underground anymore. It's like, how do you use the word underground in this day and age?
Right.
You should do a no phone party, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
Please. Let's do it. Let's do a no phone party. I'll come.
No, Sway and I went to an event. Dave Chappelle, was the first time it happened. We were out in Canada, in Toronto, and they took our phones. We were walking in. We're going to see this comedy show with him and Donnell Rollins. We walk in, they take our phones and put them in the case. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and they give you a
and
key.
And she lock it, and that was it. I was like, oh,
no.
shit. I was just, but you know what? I love the show.
Yeah.
I watched the entire show. We had fun. We laughed.
There was no pressure. It wasn't no pressure to film or
we were very present, and we remembered everything, and we laughed and talked, and I thought it was dope. Sway and I talked about it on the way back. We didn't spoil his gig either. You know how sometimes people are like tweeting out jokes? And we didn't spoil his gig either. It's a good idea.
Wait, hold up, Steve. You stopped looking through your phone. What happened?
It's not on my. I got a new phone.
Oh, Sway working still?
Oh, there, yeah.
I want to play this song, man.
I thought you wooed him to sleep for a second.
I'm sorry. Don't do that. I don't know. I wouldn't want to woo him.
We already
It's on
got
my
the
computer.
Yeah, it's on your computer.
Actually, I don't know if they can hear me outside.
Can y'all hear us?
Yes, they can. Open the door.
Can someone reach out to Matt and see if we can get Can't Lose and have it emailed over here?
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Because that could work.
Yeah. Let me give you my email.
I mean, my team's in the West Coast, and it's like 6 a.m. over there.
Yeah, and then we'll world premiere it at the top of the hour.
That'd be great, man.
Okay.
That's
So
hot.
Yeah.
all right. And so hang out. Steve, thank you for coming through, man.
Thank you.
Very, very great piece of work.
Yeah,
I'll Sleep
dope.
When I'm Dead. It's on Netflix. It's a great story, man. It's a great
Thank you.
American story about a Japanese family. and their son, Steve Aoki. And if people want to reach you directly, find out more, give out your social media, man.
It's just my name, at Steve Aoki, everywhere.
All right, cool. We're going to come back with more Sway in the Morning, Shade 4-5. Tracy, I want to come back with those 2 quick stories you had.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
All right, let's do it.
It's Sway in the Morning, only
on Shade 45.